Ever, and welcome back to my kitchen. Today, we're diving into one of my all-time favorite comfort desserts. A classic, bubbly, and absolutely delicious blackberry cobbler. There's just something magical about that warm, sweet fruit filling topped with a soft, cakey, golden brown crust. It's the kind of dessert that feels like a big, warm hug, and the best part? It's surprisingly easy to make. Whether you've got fresh, juicy blackberries from the market or a bag of frozen ones in your freezer, this recipe works beautifully. So, if you're ready to make your whole house smell incredible and treat yourself to something truly special, stick around. Let's get baking. First things first, let's gather our ingredients. It's a simple list, which is one of the reasons I love this recipe so much. For our amazing blackberry filling, you'll need about 6 cups of blackberries. Like I said, fresh or frozen both work great. If you're using frozen, there's no need to thaw them first. We'll also need some sugar to sweeten them up, about 3/4 of a cup. But you can adjust this based on how sweet your berries are. A little bit of cornstarch, about 2 tablespoons, will help thicken the filling into that perfect, jammy consistency. And to brighten up all those flavors, we'll use the zest and juice of 1 lemon. A pinch of salt is also key to balancing the sweetness. That's it for the filling. Now, for that glorious, tender cobbler topping. This is what really sets a cobbler apart. In a separate bowl, we're going to combine 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, and 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. The baking powder is what gives our topping its light, cake-like lift. 1/4 teaspoon of salt goes in here too. For our wet ingredients, we'll need 1/2 cup of melted unsalted butter and 1/4 cup of milk. You can use any kind of milk you like, whole milk, to percent. Even a plant-based milk would work. A splash of vanilla extract, about 1 teaspoon, adds that lovely warm, aromatic flavor that pairs so well with the berries. And a little secret ingredient for a golden, crunchy top is a sprinkle of coarse sugar, like turbinado sugar, right before it goes into the oven. It's optional, but highly recommended for that professional bakery finish. Okay, let's start by making the filling. It's super quick. First, preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 190 degrees Celsius. Grab a 9 by 13-inch baking dish or a similar-sized casserole dish. You don't even need to grease it for this recipe. In a large bowl, combine your blackberries, the sugar, the cornstarch, the lemon zest, and the lemon juice. Give it all a good but gentle stir. You want to coat all the berries without completely mashing them. We still want some of them to hold their shape. Once everything is nicely combined, just pour this beautiful, glossy berry mixture directly into your baking dish and spread it out into an even layer. The first part is already done. See? I told you it was easy. Now, let's whip up the batter for our topping. In that medium bowl you have set aside, whisk together the dry ingredients first: the flour, sugar, baking powder, and salt. Whisking them together ensures the baking powder is evenly distributed, so you get a nice, even rise on your topping. Now, create a little well in the center of your dry ingredients. Pour in the melted butter, the milk, and the vanilla extract. Using a spatula or a wooden spoon, gently mix everything together until it just comes together. And this is important. Do not overmix. If you overmix, you'll develop the gluten in the flour, and your topping can become tough instead of tender and fluffy. Just mix until you no longer see any dry streaks of flour. The batter will be thick, almost like a drop biscuit dough. With our batter ready and our berry filling waiting patiently, it's time to assemble our cobbler. We're not going to pour this batter over the top. Instead, we're going to drop spoonfuls of it all over the berries. I like to use a couple of spoons or a small cookie scoop for this. Dollop the batter evenly over the fruit. Don't worry about covering every single inch of the berries. You want to leave some gaps. As the cobbler bakes, the batter will spread out, and those little gaps allow the beautiful, bubbly berry filling to peek through. It's what gives cobbler its signature rustic and inviting look. Once you've dotted the batter all over, take your coarse sugar, if you're using it, and sprinkle it generously over the top of the batter. This will create a wonderfully sweet and crunchy crust as it bakes. All right, our blackberry cobbler is assembled and looking gorgeous. Now it's ready for the oven. Carefully place it on the middle rack of your preheated 375-degree oven. We're going to bake it for about 40 to 50 minutes. You'll know it's done when the fruit filling is thick and bubbling up around the edges, and the topping is a beautiful deep golden brown and cooked through. A great way to test the topping is to insert a toothpick into the center of one of the batter dollops. If it comes out clean or with a few moist crumbs attached, it's ready. Your kitchen is going to smell absolutely divine during this time, a sweet, fruity perfume that is just irresistible. Once it's out of the oven, this is probably the hardest part of the entire recipe. You have to let it cool. I know, it's torture. But you need to let it rest on a wire rack for at least 15 to 20 minutes before serving. This allows the filling to set up a bit more. If you dig in right away, it will be very liquidy and will run everywhere. That little bit of patience will reward you with the perfect cobbler consistency. The best way to serve this, in my humble opinion, is warm. Scoop a generous portion into a bowl and top it with a big scoop of vanilla ice cream. The way the cold, creamy ice cream melts into the warm, sweet tart cobbler. It's just perfection. A dollop of whipped cream or a drizzle of heavy cream is also fantastic. And there you have it. A simple, rustic, and incredibly delicious homemade blackberry cobbler. It's the perfect dessert for a family dinner, a summer barbecue, or just a cozy night in. I hope you give this recipe a try and love it as much as I do. It's a true classic for a reason. Thank you so much for joining me in the kitchen today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my future recipes. Happy baking, and I'll see you next time.